He stood on the edge of annihilation, 20,000 men against the full might of Persia. Behind him, the crumbling remains of an empire. Before him, a wall of enemy steel. And yet, he didn't run. He didn't beg. He turned the battlefield into a trap and delivered one of the most humiliating defeats the Persian Empire would ever suffer. This was the Battle of Dara, and the moment the world realized, Belisarius was not just a general, he was a ghost from Rome's golden past. The year is 527 AD. The Western Roman Empire has fallen. The Eastern Roman Empire, also called the Byzantine Empire, is on the edge of collapse. Plague, corruption, and enemies surround it. A new emperor, Justinian I, rises to power. Ruthless and ambitious, Justinian wants to restore the lost Roman lands. But to do this, he needs a weapon, not made of gold, but of steel. Enter Belisarius. Belisarius was born in what is now Bulgaria. He wasn't a noble. He wasn't born into power, but he was brilliant, loyal, and deadly on the battlefield. Justinian I gave him command of a small elite army, a force that would soon be feared across continents. At just 25 years old, Belisarius faced the Persians at the Battle of Dara. Outnumbered and surrounded, Belisarius used terrain, discipline, and sheer genius to crush them. He built trenches, tricked the Persians into ambushes, and turned chaos into order. Rome had a hero again. But glory does not last in Constantinople. In 532 AD, the city exploded in rage during the Nika riots. Angry mobs burned palaces, slaughtered guards, and screamed for Justinian I's death. Justinian prepared to flee, but Belisarius stood his ground. With another general named Mundus, he stormed the Hippodrome, the stadium where over 30,000 rioters had gathered. The result was a massacre. The city drowned in blood, and the empire was saved. Justinian now owed Belisarius his life. Now it was time to strike back at Rome's old enemies. First, the Vandals in North Africa. Belisarius was sent with just 15,000 men against a kingdom of 150,000. But he moved fast, clever, and ruthless. In just 3 months, he crushed the Vandal army, took their capital at Carthage, and returned their stolen relics to Constantinople. For the first time in a century, Roman banners flew again in Africa. Next, Italy. Belisarius marched into the war-torn remains of the Western Empire. The Ostrogoths ruled from Ravenna. But Rome was still a symbol. Belisarius entered Rome in 536 AD. The Goths laid siege, 150,000 men against his 5,000 defenders. For a full year, he held the city. With clever traps, surprise attacks, and tight discipline, he humiliated the enemy again and again. Eventually, he marched into Ravenna itself. When the Goths offered him the crown of the West, Belisarius refused. He stayed loyal to Justinian I, a mistake that would cost him everything. Back in Constantinople, Justinian I grew paranoid. His general was too popular, too successful. Some say Theodora, the empress, feared Belisarius would become emperor. The reward for loyalty? Suspicion, accusations, jealous rivals whispered lies. Justinian stripped him of command and humiliated him in court. Some sources even claim he was blinded and reduced to begging at the gates of the city he once saved. Give an obol to Belisarius, whom justice has forgotten, the people whispered. Truth or legend, we may never know. But the shame was real. Belisarius was briefly recalled to fight one last time, to defend Constantinople from the Bulgars. Even then, his brilliance never faded. He died around 565 AD, old, betrayed, and possibly blind, but remembered not as a conqueror, but as a man of honor in a dishonorable age. Belisarius never betrayed the empire. even when it betrayed him, and in a time when emperors ruled from thrones of blood and gold, he stood alone as the last Roman.